That's something that I think is really important, that things are better. You leave things better. Having an organization like Bel-Air Edison, housing counseling and all the services that are provided are what saves a community. Through a number of years, I have met people that grew up in Bel-Air Edison and are very, very proud of the community. It's a really unique community, and that's one of the things we really expressed, how unique it was in terms of the parks, in terms of greening of the community, in terms of playgrounds and recreation center at that time. We had actually a two-part strategy of outreach. One was really outreach to people that needed to sell their homes, and the second part was for folks coming in the neighborhood to buy houses in the community. The work we do with St. Ambrose, I worked with at that time Jesse Allfriend, and Jesse and I worked together to develop a marketing strategy for the neighborhood. And we would go out and we would look at houses. We would go to auctions together, have open houses, and we would jointly work on marketing. The exterior of the houses were really nice, but very few people put resources inside the house. So you walk in, it's like 1940s. They didn't change the systems, you know. Some of the houses had like dark green paint inside. They were dark, you know. And I look at this house, and this house looks like a new house. So I think people have a love of this community and want to see well-being of the community, you know. And that's something that I think is really important, that things are better. You leave things better.
The notion of celebration, of pride, of having a block party, of community, that, I think, almost more than anything else, moves markets. One of the things that we did when I was at Bel-Air Edison Housing Service was we got very concerned about what was going on in the commercial district. And we put together a commercial revitalization strategy. It's so important to have people that sort of have their eye on the ball. We were able to put together a talented group of board members so we could look and say, what's happening to this community and what do we need to do in order to set it up to be successful. We face very interesting challenges. They were brought about by the fact that we were in changing times. We were seeing families with two parents working, seeing single moms, maybe even some single dads. And of course, we were also seeing a much more diversity, more racial mix in the neighborhood. Mostly what I did was focus on the nuts and bolts, and that really was about helping potential home buyers learn exactly what they needed to do to get a loan. We decided one year to put together a big fair. And then we also did an open house where we had a number of houses open that day. That really had an impact. People began to really come together. It was positive. The notion of celebration, of pride, of having a block party, of community. That, I think, almost more than anything else, moves markets.
The real affirmation of the work is about young families moving in and choosing to make Bel-Air Edison their home. That's what it's all about. I think there's a collection of things that we did to draw attention to the neighborhood and engage residents that were just a lot of fun, like the whole citywide Healthy Neighborhoods effort over on Shannon Drive. We announced the Healthy Neighborhoods $40 million loan pool for the city on Chesterfield Avenue, the Bow Wow Powwow, and we had a bike rodeo in Herring Run Park, and the fish sculpture stationed here in the park were happy times. Beni has lasted as a very stable organization for more than 20 years, and I think that's a credit to its leadership and the fact that the organization has continued to innovate and be a leader among community development organizations, and has maintained the interest of the city and the funding community. The neighborhood is an incredible investment, and I think between Beni and the neighborhood, This piece of Northeast Baltimore has maintained a tremendous amount of stability in the face of huge challenges. We were trying to get young people to be interested in the neighborhood and take advantage of the fact that you could get a beautiful move-in ready house on this park. It was very affirming when someone like George Johnson bought a house that needed to be gutted from top to bottom, and while working full-time as a high school teacher, rehabbed his house by himself every evening after work. The staying power of the organization speaks for itself. It has grown solidly with new innovations over a period of 20 years. It has added staff and programs. It's played a huge role in keeping Northeast Baltimore stable and attractive to new families. The real affirmation of the work is what I have said about young families moving in and choosing to make Bel-Air Edison their home. That's what it's all about.
We're one of those organizations that to know us, to come by, is to love us. We still want to attract home buyers. This is still a wonderful place to buy a home, a wonderful place to raise your family. And despite the economic challenges that we are going through as a nation, if we can keep our neighbors knowing each other, looking out for one another, and excited about this neighborhood and willing to share that excitement with prospective home buyers, we can get new people moving in and eventually ride this tide. As the executive director, my favorite moment when we did Foresight is 2020, so it was our strategic plan. Getting our board members and staff working together and coming out every month and working on this strategic plan was wonderful to see, because it was energizing to our board members, a lot of which had been with us for several years, but it also allowed them to connect with our staff that works so very hard every day, and so that was a wonderful moment for me as the executive director. I want to leave this organization with a robust individual donor campaign. It's something that I feel so committed to, because this organization does amazing work, and this is a wonderful community. And so I want to be able to have donors give to that mission and help to sustain the organization. It's where we need to go. I'm excited because we are also planting roots in that area, and I'm excited to see that grow. There are so many wonderful residents that live here and make this community come to life every day. If you weren't familiar with us, I'd invite you to come to our office so we can give you the tour. We're one of those organizations that to know us, to come by, is to love us.